If you're having trouble with your high school head, he's giving you the blues.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bargain Den.
Well, it's a hot one out today, folks.
It is a little bit hot out there. It's definitely hot.
We've got a bright sunny day, but how about those surprise thunderstorms of yesterday?
Nope.
Of yesteryear.
It is hot. I was hoping to come into this with a conversation that wasn't about weather, but here we are.
So how about the weather?
How about the weather?
How about the weather?
We have more episodes where we talk about the weather than anything else, so not how I wanted to start it.
We're no longer a financial podcast. Now we're all about the weather.
Now we're all about the weather. What about it?
What a horrible podcast idea.
About the weather?
Yeah.
I guarantee that the Weather Channel has a podcast and you're bumming them the fuck out right now.
I mean, but shy of being the Weather Channel, like...
No, I think you could...
That's a pretty useless report after about a few hours, you know?
That's, I mean, any kind of news. I don't want to tear it down, but that's, why not? You listen to the real financial podcast, the Robin Hood Snacks, and that becomes somewhat outdated very quickly.
But then at least it's like history. Like, I know the history of the business. Like, oh, I remember listening to the podcast 3 months ago when they just IPO'd.
I mean, you're forgetting that podcasts come from radio shows, and that radio show, I mean, I think you just listen to a radio show once in the morning and then you don't ever listen to it again.
Yeah, but most news turns into history.
You're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was so self-assured that I'll just concede. All right. Well, welcome to the Bargain Den, everybody.
That's all podcasts and all news, or any non-news podcasts, right?
Well, if you're going to keep talking about it, I'll keep arguing it.
Yeah, then never mind, I guess. This is the Bargain Den. It's a weekly financial advice podcast where we...
Talk about the weather.
No! We watch movies and we talk about them and we talk about how frugal they are or not frugal they are. We usually get them out of bargain bins or bargain bags or bargain dens. That's what we are. We're the den. We get them out of our den. We have bins in our den. And that's where we get them to watch them.
Thank you, Dr. Seuss.
Yes, somewhat. And then we talk about whether or not they're frugal, if they embody what it means to be an actual bargain movie. And this week was another one out of a bag of movies, so that's where we watched. The Sterby Dallion.
OMG, y'all. Little baby Zac Efron this week.
Not so much baby as like just, I mean like...
He's just so young.
He's young, yeah, but...
Also, okay, I'm just noticing this. We'll get into what actually is important later. But on the front cover, he's got perfect teeth, but throughout the movie, he has gap teeth.
I mean, yeah, they just cleaned up the cover, I mean...
But he has good teeth now. I like to imagine they filmed it and then he had Invisalign, so like by the time they took the cover afterwards, his teeth were better. Yeah,
it is possible. But this was, I mean, it's starring High School Musical Zac Efron on the front of the cover. So they knew who they had.
The hottest young star in America.
The hottest young star, indeed. And this was, I don't know when this came out, but anyway, we're going to spoil it. It's 2003, 2005. We looked it up.
We'll just always say 2003 from now on.
Sure, all movies came out in 2003. We're going to spoil the Sterby Dallion. Did I say the Sterby Dallion?
The Sterby Dallion, starring
Zac Efron.
Yeah, that was surprisingly tough.
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get those, Pig Latin gets kind of difficult once you get the vowels in there.
Yeah.
I forgot how to do those even. But anyway, we're going to spoil it. And so if you want to watch it and not have it spoiled, I don't really know why you would want to watch this one. I just feel like it was made for a select group of people. And then it disappeared into the distance. I got a feeling that Mr. Zachariah Efron wants this one scrubbed from his record.
Oh, poor Zach.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. It's all right. It's got other people in it. Bill Cobb's, other people. Anyway, we're going to talk about it now.
2005.
2005.
The internet told me so.
Yeah. Zac Efron plays Patrick, who is a 16-year-old kid going on 17-year-old. You know how age works?
15.
What?
Zach can't drive yet in this movie.
So he's 15 going on 16? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's 15 going on 16, and his dad played in the Major League Baseball for a while, but then had to get placed out for a shoulder surgery, something. And so he wants his son, Patrick, to play baseball, but Patrick doesn't want to. He likes hanging out with his friend, Houston Jones.
Houston Jones.
Who used to ride a horse for the Derby, the non-specific Derby.
You know, the Derby.
The Derby.
Specifically, steeplechase. They just say that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know horses.
It's pretty much like hurdle races, but for horses. Like you race and hurdle.
Okay. But, yeah, he hangs out with Houston Jones a lot.
His parents super don't like that because Houston Jones is the town drunk. Everyone knows that he's on the bottle, and they think he's going to be a bad influence on sweet young Patrick. Because Patrick keeps skipping out on baseball practice, and he keeps trying to tell his dad that he just doesn't like baseball, but his dad's like...
A bad dad.
His dad's like, but you have to love baseball because baseball is love, baseball is life.
Yeah, and Patrick is like, no, horse love, horse life. And his dad's like, I don't know, son. And he's like, Dad, not my dad. I horse now. I horse real good. Houston, make me horse. And so that happens. And there's a new girl in town.
That's all 100% correct.
It's all absolutely accurate. New girl in town. You get that idea of the story. We don't need to talk about it.
New girl in town. They fall in love. There's also bullies. And the head bully is also the defending champion of the Derby.
Yes, and the owner of some wonderfully frosted tips.
Dude, he had straight up anime hair.
No, he had straight up early 2000s hair.
It was anime hair,
was
like
not.
Stuck and like up and in places and was like perfectly styled yet fluffy.
No, it was.
How do they do that?
It was early 2000s
Dude,
frosted
I want
tips.
to cut my hair like that.
No, you're not getting fucking frosted tips. You do actually whatever you want. You know what?
I'm not going to get
not
frosted
gonna say
tips, but I'm going to cut my hair like that.
Okay, that actually looks really
Anime
cool.
hair.
Please don't get frosted tips. I just don't think you would rock frosted tips. You could rock that haircut if you wouldn't call it an anime haircut, but yes.
So if you're listening right now, look up, the Derby Stallion and look at the bully's haircut. I'm pretty sure he's listed under the bully, so you'll be able to find him.
What was his name? I don't remember. Doesn't
Something
matter.
Adams.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to the story. Houston Jones agrees to train Patrick. And
he buys him a horse.
He buys him a horse and gives up drinking. So his family's like, all right, I guess you're all right. And so he slowly learns how to ride a horse, and it's challenging for him, but he does it. And then...
And his horse's name is Rusty.
His horse's name is Rusty.
That's clearly important.
Very important. Then Houston dies. Of course he does. Houston Jones, mentor, trainer, played by Bill Cobbs, dies of age.
Some sort of heart
Something.
issue.
He dies.
And Patrick and New Girl get in a fight. They're pretty much dating, but now Patrick's really depressed because Houston's dead and he feels like he can't train for the Derby without Houston. And New Girl's like, why would you just quit? Like, you're dumb. Snap out of it. Go compete in the Derby.
And he's like, no, I've made my decision. Possible girlfriend and dad.
Because now his dad's actually for the Derby, now that he's seen that it's something that Patrick is passionate about and talented at. Even though the whole time it kind of looked like Zac Efron was terrified of the horse, Patrick is really talented with horses.
Right. And so eventually he agrees, he gets a note from Houston and agrees to riding the Derby. There's some turbulence. He finally makes it to the Derby.
Just in the nick of time.
Apparently the rules at the Derby are very lax, because he's like, you've got 30 seconds to line up, and you said you withdrew your thing, but, well, you can do it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. And, of course, he wins.
He wins.
He wins, and gets a big trophy and a scholarship. Yeah.
I mean, that's the American dream, right?
Yep, to ride a horse, to get on an animal so very large, and it's ride it in a circle as fast as it can, and then make some glue.
Oh.
Maybe we can find some glue in the clearance aisle.
Oh. Can we find some vegan glue in the clearance aisle?
Also known as glue.
Okay, let's go check out the glue in the clearance aisle.
Yeah, or some, like, violin strings. Don't they make that out of horsehair?
They used to make the bows out of horsehair. Like the strings on the bow.
Let's go find some glue. I'm stuck to everything.
All that glue.
All the glue. The Derby Stallion. Is it frugal or not frugal?
Derby Stallion.
The name is bad. It's a bad name.
Derby Stallion this summer, featuring young star from High School Musical.
Featuring Zac Efron. The Derby Stallion. Is it frugal or not frugal?
Well, he won the race, and he got a horse for free. Those are both really frugal. He got a free horse that is worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
And an old man's life.
And, I mean, free horse, though. And he also got a scholarship for college. College is expensive.
Yeah, is he gonna race in college? I don't understand how that would actually transfer. Is it a sport? I don't know. Who cares? But
It's hard to ride a horse. It's actually very...
Is that what determines a sport? It's a challenge?
Yeah. Sometimes I think so.
You ever ridden a horse?
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, I've ridden one once. I think I'd be mortified now. You mentioned it earlier, but it's very clear that Zac Efron was terrified around these horses. I don't blame him. Big horses.
So big.
But you could probably count the number of shots that are Zac Efron and not a stunt double, and Zac Efron and the horse in the shot. Like, he kept quite the distance from old Rusty.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was something else.
I get it, though. They're, like, really tall, and they could kick you and, like, kill you.
They're so muscular.
Yeah, they're all muscular.
All muscles.
All muscles.
And then they've got those teeth.
Bite.
They can legit bite fingers off.
They can bite.
It's terrifying.
They bite really hard, too.
Dude, even if one just, like, whacked you with its neck, that'd be painful. That'd be enough to knock you down.
Yeah, and then what if they stepped on you? Horses are so scary.
Horses are huge.
I mean, basically, big dogs and onward, I get kind of scared.
Yeah, that's fair.
We should, they're just, animals are big. That's why cats, for the most part, are pretty cool.
Until they eat while you record. But moving right along.
Yeah, they didn't eat it all beforehand. Not even a munch. And you've been the second I watched this time. They did in fact wait until immediately when we started recording.
Good.
It's not as though the food wasn't there beforehand. I checked and there was a little bit of food in there. And so now they have chosen this time to eat.
Yeah. We fed them like an hour ago.
So
I think they saved some just for the off chance that, like, maybe the humans are going to record tonight and then we can eat while they do that. Anyway, so other frugal, not frugal points. Frugal, when New Girl takes over Houston Jones's produce business. Now, Houston Jones does not seem very frugal, but Zac Efron and New Girl, pretty frugal. She bargains for a 60-40 split on his produce stand.
Yeah, I would say, though, that family, or most of the families, are very well off and kind of value the higher class of country living and maybe aren't as frugal as they should be. So I would say that's a point against frugality there.
On that point, New girl gets her parents give her a car because she's 16 in return
she's
for probably, but in return for watching her brother. And this car is like way too nice to give to any 16-year-old ever.
It's really funny because it's a classic scene in a lot of movies. It's just a common like thing of somebody drives up in a car and then has to get out of the car and walk to the scene. You know, that's how they show up. And is that your stomach?
Tom.
Oh, okay. They show up in the car and then it's funny to watch them because you're like, that's not their car. Like that is the only time they will ever sit in that car, and there's like so much that goes into like being comfortable in a car, somewhat like riding a horse. You've got to be one with the car. But like this movie was one that was pretty bad that like you could tell that those cars like they didn't belong. There was quite a few of those scenes, like the dad would show up and he'd get out of the car, and you know when somebody's comfortable with a car, and you could just tell they weren't. It sounds silly, but it just made me laugh.
Houston Jones seemed comfortable in his truck.
Oh, he was a good actor.
Yeah. Houston Jones, whoever played him.
Bill Cobbs.
Bill Cobbs did an amazing job, but that's not what this is about.
No. So speaking of not what this is about, it's time for Thrifty Trivia.
Yes, Thrifty Trivia.
There's no trivia for this movie, but...
Thrifty Trivia, no.
Oh, well, that's not true. I have some here. Hold on.
Thrifty Trivia, yeah.
Okay. There's no actual trivia, but there's some things I want to go over on IMDb. First off, it was filmed in Virginia.
Okay.
And I just caught this at a glance. I'm glad I did. There's also an also known as section. And for the most part, it's, normal. In Finland, it's known as Live Your Dream.
Huh.
In Germany, it's Teenage Champion. Go for gold! They really couldn't land down a good title for this movie, huh?
Yeah, I don't like any of those.
Live Your Dream. Teenage Champion, go for gold!
Teenage Champion.
And then, there's no trivia, but there are some goofs in it. Apparently, it's very obvious that Rusty isn't the horse that they used every time. It's not the same horse.
Personally, could not tell.
Couldn't tell.
I was looking at Zac Efron more than that, so.
Yeah, and you could tell. When the kids cannot get in the vehicle, to get the vehicle started, the father realizes the spark plug wires have been pulled out. However, when the vehicle starts, it's a diesel engine running, which does not have spark plugs.
Dun, dun, dun.
This person has too much free time. This one has a spoiler in it, revealing mistakes when Houston is supposed to be dead. If you look closely, you can see him breathing, and after Patrick takes the picture out of his hand, his thumb moves slightly.
Rigor mortis.
Yeah. Really just the horses and Zac Efron, so I think a point towards frugality and that it kept up pretty well to, not be called out for any goofs. Mm-hmm. This person said it was a 10 out of 10.
Whoa.
Hold on, because I just caught the title of that. Hold on. Greatest platonic parental movie.
What?
Oh, that's so long.
Oh, yeah. Also, mom and dad in this movie were the most actual couple-ish parents I think I've ever seen in a movie.
I could not disagree with you more, but I don't want to get into that.
They just, made out at one point.
Mom
and dad made out.
No.
In a very mom and dad way.
No, they didn't. She was not, I didn't believe her as a mom at all.
Yeah, she was a little bit hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was a classic bad dad.
He was a classic bad dad.
He doesn't understand his teenage son.
I'm pretty sure that was the best friend in the Truman Show.
Ah, you know what? I would have no idea.
I think I'm wrong. Hold on. I want to see, was the dad in this movie actually the friend in the Truman Show? The guy who sits on the dock with Jim Carrey, and he's like, "Would you like a beer while we talk about your dad?" This
Would
is
you
actually
like a Miller Lite?
This is actually a commercial for a beer, not actually talking to Truman. He was in a lot of things, but I don't think he was in the Truman Show. This is a really long segment now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's not in the Truman Show. Yeah.
Good segment.
Yeah, you're welcome. That'll be a new, also recurring segment. Was he in the Truman Show?
That would... when we actually found someone who was in the Truman Show, that would have to be the wildest party. What if we actually pulled out the Truman Show?
We'll review the Truman Show.
Yeah, but then
That's how
that
the podcast
section,
works.
was he in the Truman Show, would be like...
Yes.
Yes.
Or we would just hold off on that one because, yes, of course, the people in the Truman Show were in the Truman Show.
But what if we find out someone that was in the Truman Show was not in the Truman Show?
Okay, hold on. Freeze. Freeze with that sentence. I want you to encapsulate what it is that you just said to me as a counterpoint, as a form of argument. And the fuck all sense. Do you feel it? What if we found somebody that, while we're watching the Truman Show, that wasn't actually in the Truman Show? I think this movie's frugal. I think it has enough frugality in it to be considered frugal.
Even with the ATVs and mailboxes getting pulled out of the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it had a frugal heart.
Definitely had a frugal heart. Our heroes were definitely pro-frugality.
Agreed. I think it's frugal.
All right. The Derby Stallion. Frugal.
Watch the Derby Stallion, everybody. Dawn, is there anybody you want to thank?
I do. First off, I want to thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you. Take some time to tell a friend about us or share a link because that's cool. And that's what the cool kids are doing. Thank you to Sara Anastasia for our cover art, and there's a link to more of her work in the description of every episode. We also want to thank the Lounge Kittens for the use of their cover of Dirty Deeds for our music, which you can find a link to more of their work as well in the description. I also want to thank Anchor for hosting our podcast, distributing it to all your favorite platforms. And there's a couple ways you can help us out there. You can be a supporter on Anchor by giving a monthly donation. Or you can also review us on iTunes and help spread the good word.
Yep. And if you review us on iTunes, you'll become our bargainaire. And currently the 1/10 of 1% is the bargainaire still.
Wow, long reign.
Long reign, the 1/10 of 1%. They've been lording over us for quite a while now.
Ain't that how it always goes?
Ain't that how it always goes?
Guys.
So, what?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, guys.
Can you hear the people sing? Come on, start a revolution. I don't actually know how that song goes, so...
I don't either.
My bad.
I was just going to also say we're also on YouTube now, so if you don't like listening to podcasts on podcast app, but want to listen to it on YouTube, you can do that now. We're going to be looking into putting more content up on there. Currently, the schedule of content right now is Mondays. We're starting from episode 1, moving forward. They're going to be uploaded to YouTube with somewhat of a new cover, just the audio there. So if you've seen it, you've seen it. But if not, Wednesdays are always going to be the new episodes. And then Friday is the new episode, but on YouTube. But here, I think in the next... not this week. Next week, we're going to have another new show. So.
Yas, queen.
Yes.
So stay tuned, and a good place to stay tuned would be Instagram @TheBargainDin or Twitter @TheBargainDin. And then if for any reason you want to contact us, maybe you just want to tell us we're really cool. I don't know. You can also email us. We're on Gmail at thebargaindin@gmail.com.
Nope, the Bargain Din.
Thebargaindincast@gmail.com. I was testing you and you passed.
Always do,
Good
honey.
job. Dang.
Dang.
What'd you write?
Well, this has been the Bargain Din. Thank you for listening. I'm Brandon.
I'm Donna.
And pinch those pennies.
And stay frugal.
And I wrote on this week's sticky note.
It says, Houston, we have a, and then problem is scratched out and it says bargain.
Woo!
And it bounced off the wall.
Bye.
Dirty deeds and the done dirt cheap.